Opie's Beard Co. The Sit Down Series.
And we are live. Welcome everybody to the second episode of the Sit Down series with me, Jamie Cox, and with Mr. Matt Wall. How are you, Matt?
Hello. Hello. I don't need to wear a mask, do I?
No,
I've got my Opie's one on.
I think we're probably more than 2 meters away, I reckon.
Can we more than 2 meters?
I reckon. I think Leek's probably more than 2 meters. I think Leek's probably more than 2 meters away from Reading, I think.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were abiding by regulations.
Yeah, we will be. Yeah. How are you? You good?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining me. Shall we just get straight into it?
Yeah, let's fire away, shall we?
Yeah. So, tell everybody about your beard journey when you started growing your beard.
Oh gosh. I've always had some form of facial hair, I think. The problem for me is that at a young age, I look really young. So I think as soon as I could grow a goatee and a bit of sideburns, that's where I was going. So, but I used to let my beard grow out when I used to go work in America in the summertime. But you get to a stage where it gets to that scruffy stage, and you're just like, I need to probably trim it back now. Back then, there was no such thing as beard products or anything like that. And either old people, wizards, and scruffy people like me that had worked all summer in America and people that were traveling had beards. And I was at a tattoo convention. It was Liverpool Tattoo Convention, and I'd let my tash grow out a little bit. And it was about 8 years ago. And some guy stopped me and says, "Hey, you need to get some wax on that."
Yeah,
I was like, all right, okay. And he pops out of he had a little waistcoat, and he pops out of his pocket. I'm like, whoa, what is that wizardry? and I can't remember for the life of me what brand it was.
Yeah. And
he gets a little thing and he gives me it, and I get it on my wax. I'm like, oh, look at that. I mean, I don't have I had a trim beard, and so I got on Tinterweb after that, and the place to be back then was before Facebook was huge, and we had Facebook, it was Instagram.
Right.
And I found a company called Mr. King's Moustache Wax.
Okay.
So before we had Russell Bristow, we had Johnny King. Johnny King was he was World Darley Champion 2016, I do believe, around about that then anyway. But anyway, he had a moustache wax, so I bought some of that. That was the first ever beard product I bought, was this moustache wax. So then the more you start digging on Instagram, the more you kind of come across. And I came across this account called Hirsute for Happiness. And that, lo and behold, was a gentleman called Stuart Morse, who many may know now as Fine Fettle.
Yeah.
And I'd also joined a group on Facebook called the Beard Hub. Anyone that's been around beard groups for the past sort of 7 or 8 years will probably have heard of Beard Hub. And that was one of the first beard groups that was out there. And it was a guy from Chester that ran that club, but he got very Americanized very quickly, and nothing wrong with the American groups, but it was all very a bit too hoo-ha and not really sort of the scene I think that all the British guys have now in the beard groups in Britain. We have a different set of humour sometimes, and but anyway, from that group I met this guy called Chris, and around about that time the British Beard and Moustache Championship 2014 was about to happen. My beard was I'd been growing it for about a year, sort of consciously growing it. Now I discovered products. I was like, right, I can grow a beard. I can put a bit of beard oil on it. I brush it, and it can look reasonably neat and tidy. So we went to the British. I drove over to Chester and picked Chris up, and we drove down to Bath. And we met up with Stuart and another gentleman called Paul Card, who's got the little chops. Well, it depends, I think, what time of the month it is, what sort of beard style Paul has these days. So it's a moustache, full beard, or chops. And the four of us kind of hit Bath, not Bristol. I think I said hit Bath for the 2014 Beard and Moustache Championships, and we got to meet loads of people there. A lot of the guys now that we know and love in our bearding community. And as to say, the rest is history.
Awesome. So, when you started, because obviously a lot of people know you now as having the tagline "Who's Matt Wall?" When did that come in, and what made you go for the tagline of "Who's Matt Wall"?
Well, I don't know. I think that's recent, really, regarding my bearding journeys. That's reasonably a recent thing. The kind of the last couple of years. And I've moved into the freestyle, doing freestyle, because I guess the backstory to the Who's Matt Wall is I decided to do freestyle for two reasons. One is when I first saw freestyle down in Baffin at the British, there was 50 people in the styled moustache full beard category. 50 people. I am not going to stand a chance against some of them beards.
Yeah.
In the freestyle category, there was 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've got a good shot if I enter that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, I can do that. I kind of don't mind being up on stage. I don't mind kind of putting myself out there. There were some real characters at Bath as well. There was a couple of French guys that were there, and one of the French guys, one of them, he came on in a bathrobe. He entered every category. One of these French guys, he came in a bathrobe. He came in with he went to sleep on stage in one category. And and I think that's the spark, is watching those French guys be on stage, just having a complete laugh with it, and having fun doing it and entertaining. Is that I was like, you know what, I could do that. That's my bag, that. And so freestyle is kind of where I then moved into the freestyle, and I just started off by styling the beard. And but then people in the freestyle, you've got these personas and outfits and characters, and I'm thinking, and I didn't place, and I was like, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So the characters, the outfits kind of came along, and I think I was looking at changing my Instagram name from just what used to be MPR Wall, which was a bit boring, to something else, which was a bit more representative. I was just trying to think what it was, and I was kind of like, everything seemed too pretentious.
Yeah.
When you're sort of using your own name in something, and I didn't want it to just be Matt Wall. Yeah. Because then you get it confused with your personal account, or certainly if it was Facebook. So I was like, kind of like, well, who's Matt Wall? I don't know. It just seemed a bit. It's something you can have a laugh with. People can, as they do, like, who's Matt Wall? Who are you? It's because ultimately, if you can't have a laugh at yourself, because which is sometimes what freestylers, anyone see me at a competition, you're all there, you bearded guys dressed up. I mean, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, and you've got to have a bit of fun with it. And I think the Who's Matt Wall tagline has just sort of evolved from that, really.
So for everybody watching that doesn't know what a freestyle beard is, do you just want to give them a quick run through of what exactly a freestyle beard is?
So freestyle is where you would use products such as hairspray or heavy wax. Most of us use hairspray to style the beard into curls and spikes, to create some form of creation. I've even seen the likes of a dog's face on a guy at the British, Incredibeard. It was one of my first sort of inspirations, and I had a bit of a chat with him on Instagram back in the day about styling beards, because there's a bit of an art to it and a bit of a skill to it. He's had a soup ball. You might have seen him eating. You think you might have seen a gif of a guy eating noodles out of a soup bowl in his beard. That's Incredibeard. So it's about using products to style your beard and come up with something original, come up with something different. There are some guys that basically go with the same style and nail it every single time. I mean, you've got Arnie in America, who has got is it Octo beard? And it's the old guy in the white, and it just sticks out, and it's got a little curl at the end. I mean, and his freestyle is on point, to put a pun on it, every single time. It's like perfect. And the symmetry is there as well. So it's a fun category. Some guys take it really seriously. I never take it seriously. Honest.
I remember the first time I saw it was in person, of course, because you see them all on the internet, and you sort of you know, you wonder if they're real or whatever. And then, but the first time I saw was in person at Coventry. I saw Lee BMG's one, and his was, you know, he has the whole, I think it's like 4 or 8, something like that, going all twirlies. And it's, you've got to see it really to believe it. You've got to be very up close and sort of go, because you take a good look and you almost in your mind imagine like loads of wispy hairs that are either photoshopped out or you can't see in photos, but they're actually really perfect, aren't you? You can get it to an exact point.
Yeah, I mean, you've really got to, if you want to place and you want to compete, then it needs to be perfect. It needs to be spot on. You know, the idea is if you were judging freestyle, you would be looking for originality, you'd be looking for symmetry, you'd be looking for precision. I'd like to say it's not always the biggest beard. I only say that because I don't have the biggest beard. Unfortunately, the bigger beards give you more to play with, and that's very frustrating for me, because essentially what I've got is that's it. My beard's at terminal. It'll probably get another inch on it. I probably give it another trim this year, but then next year I'll leave it because hope for the British to get the best length out of it. But some of the guys in the States, and you know, and someone like Lee now with his big long beard, and Charlie who competes, they've got long beards. They can do stuff with it. There's more options there. But yeah, I mean, but then you've got Brendan, and Brendan's got quite a short beard, and he comes up with some right creations, and he's got the outfit as well, and he's kind of, it's all part of the parcel. And I think as much as it should be about the beard, and at the Worlds, it is supposed to be about the beard. I heard a rumor that the judges were told, don't look at outfits, it's about the beard.
Okay.
But in freestyle, it's got to be, I don't know. In the UK, it's the effort, it's the stage performance, it's the crowd interaction, it's the bringing the fun to the party kind of thing. And I think in the British comps, that is very much plays into it. Yeah,
it's definitely the most fun category out of any beard category, I reckon. I mean, the idea of a guy, because usually in the beard world you try and not get food in your beard, and to imagine a guy with a bowl as a beard is quite very unusual, isn't it? The fact that he's eating food out of his beard. A lot of us pick food out of our beards, but this guy's actually our whole like noodles and stuff out of it.
I think that was very much a kind of like a social media stunt. You know, if there's a little video and it's humorous, I'm not too sure that. He doesn't do it every day. It's interesting you mentioned food and freestyling, because the two just don't go. When you're doing freestyling, you've got to plan your whole day. You can't just rock up a competition. Like if you're just doing like normal beard, you can just do your beard in the morning, put your clothes on, rock up, and it's pretty much there. But with freestyle, you've generally got to have a hotel beforehand, because you need the hotel room to style your beard. You've also got to plan, because not hotels have got plugs in the right places. They don't always have a mirror in the right place where a chair is that you can sit in front of a mirror. So you find yourself walking into the hotel with a mirror, bag of extension leads, air dryer. I've got a separate bag full of different level airsprays, clips, get glasses, clear glasses that I can wear so I don't get it in my eyes. It's a whole set, and then it's about working your outfit out, because you can't do your beard and then go, I'm going to put my t-shirt on. Oh, you can't do that. So you've got to work out what your outfit. So usually you'd wear a shirt, because if you've got a t-shirt on when you do your beard, you're just going to get hairspray all over it.
That's right,
So you'd usually wear a shirt if you're doing freestyle, because you could do your beard without putting your outfit on.
I remember when I tried it. I tried it one time, and I sent you a couple of pictures of it when I did try it, and it was just at home in the bathroom, and I just wore like a vest. And I ended up using so much hairspray that I nearly passed out because of the smell of it. And then at one point I went to look at the side of it like that and stuck my cheek to my shoulder because there was so much hairspray on it. It was like a tacky adhesive.
The first time I went freestyle, which was Wessex in 2015, I believe I did it there. Honestly, I was... I couldn't move my face. It was solid. I'd used that much hairspray. I mean, you don't need loads. I mean, I work with a different gradient of hairspray. I start off with a low spray, a low hold, so I can start to get the shape, and then I finish. A lot of the guys, he's got to be glued. Now, got to be glued is rocking horse, and it's And the reason I don't like starting with that is if you mess up with that, you're in the shower to wash it out, because there's no changing it. It's just like boss stick. It really is.
Yeah,
It'll stick you. That's what I finish with. And so yeah, you've got to kind of take your time. And let me finish with the food. You've got to make sure you eat first in the morning, because it's very difficult to eat when you've got spikes and curls sticking out. So there's so much planning that goes into it.
Food with a straw.
Probably some of the soup all day long.
Yeah, liquid lunch.
That's usually a liquid lunch. That's right.
So in terms of competitions, you've been all over the world, haven't you? At all different kinds of competitions. Where's the furthest competition you've been to?
Well, I've been to Antwerp. That was the furthest. I'm not too sure that does classify as all over the world. I'd love to go out to one of the American competitions. I was lucky enough last year to be invited out to judge a competition out in Charleston. It was by Aaron and Natalie were running, and I would absolutely have loved to have done that. And that was this year, actually, in May. They invited me at the beginning of the year, but it's a huge cost, and it just wasn't financially possible for me to go out there. So I know that we've got competitors. Adam Freeman, he goes out and he competes out in America. So there are guys that do travel over. Me personally was just Antwerp, the Worlds last year, was it now?
Yeah, it was last year, 2019, 2019,
wasn't it? That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm losing track of time.
I know. I think we're all just wishing the time away, and we can't remember the good times, can we now? So I mean, that's awesome. And I want to bring up your company as well, that you work with your wife, and I can see it on your hat there, Old Smithy Tattoos.
That's us, yeah.
And you're based in Leek, is that right?
We're up in Leek, Staffordshire. I'm in the studio now.
Yeah,
you can see that's social distancing boxes, so we can still
it's
still
quieter
operate.
than it needs to be, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're currently in lockdown like every other business at the moment, but so it's the good wife who's a tattoo artist. She's been tattooing now for about 10 years, and she's got her own style going on. She just quite an abstract, avant-garde sort of style, and has kind of carved quite a little bit of a career for herself, really, and a good reputation. So she has people traveling all over the country to get tattooed by her and get something in her specific style. So she's Hollie Tattooist on Instagram and social media, and that's what the tattoo place used to be called, Hollie Tattoos.
Right.
And then we moved. We used to be when we moved to the town that we're in, Leek, and then we moved to back in 2011. 2012, sorry. We moved to a bigger shop where we could have more people, because she'd taken on an apprentice at that time. So we became Old Smithy Tattoo, and the name is, her maiden name is Smith.
Right.
So hence Old Smithy Tattoo.
Okay.
We wanted something a bit more quirkier than just, I don't know, Leek ink. On Staffordshire ink, So tattoo studios tend to have this, a bit more quirky names now, don't they? Because we're not like one thing we've tried to do and we've tried to change is that there's very much a stigma, certainly 10 years ago, of the tattoos were these like, blacked out windows, big fat bearded guys, and I've worked very hard on getting rid of that fatness anyway. And they were like a bit scary. I mean, I remember when I went in, and the reason why the wife's a tattooist is because when I got my sleeve, she got a back piece, and that inspired her, and then she would search for an apprenticeship, etc., and did that. But yeah, it was very much, it's scary going into a tattoo shop, and these tattooists are like, shut up, sit down, this is what you're getting. And we very much wanted to, especially being a female, and it's certainly a male-dominated industry. Yes. We really wanted to kind of like create an environment that was a celebration of art, really, especially because of the type of art she does. And a lot of tattoo studios were moving away from that idea of having other people's designs on the wall. That I'll have that one, please. You know what I mean? I want that one.
Yeah.
because then you go out on a Saturday night and someone's got the same tattoo as you because you both got it from the same tattooist off the same wall.
Yeah.
So we're very much, and I think now, like a lot of tattoo studios within the UK and around the world, is we're a celebration of art, and we really wanted to break down those stigmas that, tattoo studios are not, horrible, dingy places. We're actually some of the cleanest establishments on the high street these days, with some of the most professional people and skilled and talented people.
Yeah.
Working in any industry. You think these guys have got to one chance to get it right on you, and we all have our own jobs, and sometimes you might make a beard product and think, oh, I messed that up, I'll wax that again. And it's a high pressure job, and the relationship between artists and clients as well is so sort of close, really. So that's what we want to do. We work with the client to get the designs right, so that the client walks out with a piece of art, essentially. Them, and that's how we we've wanted to run. We like to think we run a professional studio. We've got a website, smithytattoo.com. We respond to people really quickly. We want to be really informative. Instagram account, Facebook page. So I think it's a little family-run business. It's got me off the streets, as you would say.
Well, we'll get the links all put in just below here for Hollie and Matt's tattoo studio. I think it's definitely in the last, I don't know how many years, probably 10, 15 years. I think women in tattoos now. I mean, there's some huge names in terms of tattooing that are women, and especially, I mean, even tattoo shops themselves. I remember when I was a lot younger, you wouldn't see many tattoo shops that didn't have blacked out windows. They used to always black out the front of the windows because they had so many people. It was so unusual, and it was a minority thing, and everyone just looked through the windows. I assume that's why they used to black them out, because they used to get so many people just stood at the windows staring in all day long at these sort of tattoo artists just basically doing their jobs. So I think it's come so far now, hasn't it?
People are half naked as well, which is why sometimes the windows are blacked out. I mean, it has a frosted our windows, but you can kind of still see through the sign writing and stuff like that. And we wanted to do it so it was kind of that way, so it wasn't fully blacked out. But there's some studios don't have it. They might have a separate tattoo area, but I think it was TV shows like Miami Ink and LA Ink with Kat Von D and Army James that really kind of helped project, should I say, tattooing into the limelight. I don't think that these tattoo fixers and this stupid one with those two idiots from whatever TV show with one friend gets something tattooed on and the other friend gets some, they're not doing anything for art. I mean, they might, so all publicity is good publicity, but the reality is that's still shocking. I mean, tattoo fixers, it's the idea that customers can just walk in and go, oh, can you just all draw me up a design of a fox and I can kind of see which one I like best. I just wear like that. It's a little bit unrealistic, and it's sensationalizing our industry, which we sort of resent a little bit. It's not fair because these guys work really, really hard, and it's a skill and it's a craft. And we did have like UK tattoo master, which was really good. And that was starting off with 10 tattoo artists, all battling it out with different clients to kind of become the winner of the show. And what I really liked about that is it showed how hard and the pressure that the artists are under to get the designs right. It showed the backs, the behind the scenes, essentially. Drawing the designs, getting it ready. Clients come to you with like the most amazing ideas for designs. It's brilliant. And then the artist has got to take them ideas and put them into an image to work as a tattoo.
I think that's probably the huge main difference between tattooists now compared to years and years ago, is that you don't see many tattoo shops now that do flash artwork. Despite the fact I was listening to a tattooist talk a couple of months back, and he was saying that actually it's nice to do flash because not only does the customer see the image, but he doesn't have to, because a lot of tattooing design, from what I gather, is you basically have to try and pull the idea out of somebody's head based on very sort of limited description, so to speak. And they said it was they said it was nice just to be able to, you know, if you pick a piece of flash off the wall, it's that everybody knows the score. It's that piece of artwork. Whereas, you know, you can, like you say, it takes a long time to draw up a piece of artwork, and you present it to them, and they say, "Oh no, that's not quite what I had in mind." But you know, it's hard to know what somebody is talking about, especially because a lot of these people are strangers you've never met.
Yeah. Flash has definitely sort of changed. I mean, I do think we've moved away from having the literally loads on the wall. What's taken Flash over is the internet.
Yes.
It's Google. You know, Pinterest. And people come in and they'll be like, you know, what that's where they get the Flash from. Flash also used to be very much of an old school style. Yeah. Tattoo. So like Sailor Jerry being kind of one of those that, you know, like the sailboats and the love heart or a rose or skull and crossbones or something like that. That's kind of where the old school Flash comes from. And yeah, you could buy Flash sheets. So you're sort of buying the rights, and you'd have them up on your wall, and you're picking. I've got an eagle up on here, which is Flash, or a tribal piece, which anyone who had a tattoo in the 90s will probably have somewhere on the body.
Yeah, that's
right. But whereas now, when artists usually do flashes, they'll make their own flash sheets. So you might do, well, I've already said that, it's Friday the 13th today, which is a huge day for tattooing. We would usually, right now, this would be, if it weren't for COVID, we would be nuts in here now, because we would be having a Friday the 13th day, where all our artists will have drawn up Friday the 13th flash. They'd have a little flash sheet, and customers would book in and they'd pick, I'll have that one. We do it at £13, or we do it at £31. And we do it as a charity day. So we would usually take £3 goes to the artist, and £10 goes into the charity jar. Oh, wow. And what we often do is we do £13 for the tattoo, £7 tip. So it's £20, and then you know, £7 goes to artist, £13 goes in the charity bucket. The £7 just covers like the cost of the ink and the needle.
And everything's got to be clean as well.
And we would do a charity day, as a lot of tattoo studios do across the country. I mean, everyone's probably familiar with the Manchester Bees and how that works. There's a flash tattoo when everyone got the Manchester Bees. We would absolutely be bustling. Friday the 30th is a huge. A tradition that's come from America. You know, I've got 13 tattoos on me in various places. Tattoo artists would tattoo each other as well on this day with a little 13 or some sort of design that they've done. So artists are doing their own sort of flash sheets and flash designs, so customers can pick and choose what they want. From it, but you're right, it is. It's like when, I mean, my wife will do designs and they're available to, you know, for people to get them, and it's great when someone has one of the designs that she's done already, because they know what to get and she knows what she's doing.
That's
right. She gets the night off before.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of time spent out of view, isn't it, doing the designing. But anyway, moving on to the beard community. You're obviously a huge part of the beard community. You're part of the British beard community, and you're also part of many Facebook groups. Can you tell us a little bit about the beard community and what it means to you? So as I say, I first went to the British back down in Bath, and there I then discovered that the next competition was the Wessex competition. I also down at Bath met David Dade, who's the chair president of the British Beard and Moustache British Beard and Moustache Club. So I've been a member of the British Beard and Moustache Club for 7 or 8 years now, and proudly so. They've got lots of factories all around the country, and they were pretty much the first to have, along with the Handlebar Club. Now I believe that, if I get my facts right, because I do have a moustache, but to be in a Handlebar Club, you have to have a moustache. I think they're one of the oldest clubs. Certainly going. I think they've been around for, I dare say 100. I don't know. I want to say 100 years, but hopefully, when this gets posted, one of the Handlebar Club members can correct me. But I do believe that their club is certainly the oldest beard club or facial hair club, certainly in the UK. So I met a lot of those guys when I went to
when I went to the competitions. And for me, the competitions have always been where it's been at first, really, I think, for meeting people than the clubs that we've got now on Facebook. I talked about being in that Beard Hub club, and I met Chris there, and Chris doesn't really do much with bearding anymore. But from there, that's where I met other people. But by going to the competitions, that's where I met my friends. That's where I met people. You meet people like Andy Teague, who's from Wessex and Gody, and I went down there because that was in the next competition. I met Victoria from Bilf down there, and just I met the Glasgow. There was the Glasgow Beard Club guys. They came down there. The Liver Beards, they all went down there. So you meet the Liver Beards, and they've got their own little real clubs, as we would say, because they meet in person. And then we had this kind of, as Facebook kind of boomed, as Facebook did it was only natural that people were going to join these groups on Facebook. And there's many of them now, too many to kind of sort of all mention at once. But I think for me, the ones that I participate in would be Beard Club, would be Home of the Beardos, would be Private Beards, and would be Handlebar Helians or Helian Handlebars, which is more of an American club, which is more about tashes. Okay. And it's, and I think what they've done is they've created a community, and they've created this support network for people. And I think there's been then become emergence of the beard competitions and the beard groups, where people have come from beard groups to beard competitions, and then people have come from beard competitions to beard groups on social media, and we've kind of all met in the middle, and there's this big, massive community now. And I'm a bit known for picking up strangers that I've met on the internet and taking them to beard competitions. That's how I first met. That's how I first met Damo.
Yeah.
Went to Wessex, and I went and I knew him through the Beard Club, and I drove down to Coy. He needed a ride to Wessex. He couldn't kind of get there, so he sought his out. I mean, he's a bit further. So I got to go out of my way, but you know what? It throws me a few quid for petrol, and it's a bit of chit chat. You get to meet someone. So that's how I got to know Damo, and we shared a room down there. I've done the same with Simon Sheffield, and I picked Simon Sheffield up on the way to beard competitions, and Russell and Faith on the way to beard competitions, and it's great. It's I'm quite known for picking up
bearded taxi service.
But I got to know those people through going on groups and through and what I love about the bearded community is that everyone's kind of supports each other, and it really is. It's a great community. People really do look out for each other, and the charity work that goes on behind the scenes, which people don't see at first. I'm an ambassador for Bilf, Beards I Like to Fondle, which is Victoria, and again, for the reason is that the work that she's done for the charity, a lot of the t-shirt sales that she sells, money's gone to charity. And she was always been at beard competitions, whether it be supporting, sponsoring categories, or being there with a stall, or sponsoring the competition itself, or sponsoring competitions in clubs. And that's what I love about the beard community. And you see all these. What you don't often see is that you see the beard product guys like yourselves actually are friends and pals with the other guys that own. It's like you're not looking at it as rivalry. And he's shaking his head thinking, nah, there's definitely rivalry there. But what I see as a punter is like, it's great. And I love that fact is that everyone kind of just is in it together, really. And it's such a good laugh going to a comp. You go the night before, everyone meets up, goes for a few beers and catches up, and it's just a great community, and people, I would say I've now got a lot, I would say a handful, but I think it's more than that. Of people, if I had a problem, I could pick the phone up and there'd be someone there to help me. And I think, there's not a lot of communities and clubs and groups around that I think you could genuinely put hand on your heart and say that.
I couldn't agree more.
And it's part of the reason why I'm on with you as an ambassador is I've seen what you do for the beard community. you're sponsoring competitions, you're sponsoring the competitions in the groups, your ethos of how you operate and how you are as a company. And that is what I'm in the beard community for. And ultimately, they'll be the brand to buy from as well. I'll buy products from brands that support the community.
Yeah.
Because it's giving back, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the community, it's so good. Such a laugh.
Yeah.
Such a laugh. I mean,
Yeah,
going to the Worlds, Team GB, when we went to the Worlds in Antwerp,
yeah,
it was brilliant. I mean, first of all, it's just we were about 7 years old, went down in a minibus, and me, Russell, Faith, Drew, Neil, Wayne. It was great. All jumped in a minibus, like on the Euro Tunnel. Here we go. It's like proper, road trip. These are people we've just met at beer competitions, and we're having such a laugh. And then you get to Antwerp, right? Honestly, you couldn't walk around Antwerp without seeing a bearded person. I don't know. You don't matter where they were from, and you just have a bit of nod, and you knew
the nod,
and then you see the guys in America that like you've talked to for like. There's a guy, Eddie. He's a big guy on the Helians. He's got a big moustache. Can't pronounce his second name. Kill. Oh gosh, he's got a big. He's Tash's youth. Eddie. He's such a legend. I've known him for like 5 years on social media. Got to the World, and I remember seeing him, and it's just like we were both like, "Oh, Eddie, big hug." Never met this guy before, but we're friends on Facebook, in the groups, and it's just brilliant. And it was just the Worlds was just such a coming together of people from all over the world. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a buzz from the moment we got there to the moment we left. It's just people with beards and facial hair.
The last thing I want to talk about, Matt, is beard products. Do you have a favourite beard product? Like, what is your go-to? Is it oil, balm, or butter? Or which would be your go-to in the morning?
I would do. I'm now an oil and balm person, so I would oil first, and then I would balm. I have quite a whispery beard, unfortunately, and it's patchy in places. There's a big patch in here. You can't
join
see
the club.
So those guys that got patchy beards, persevere, because it will fill out. But if I'm going to give you a tip, if you've got a patchy beard or a wispy beard, the best tip I can ever give anyone: black t-shirts. Because as soon as you wear anything that's like light, you can see through it. My wardrobe does not have any light coloured t-shirts in anymore. So the best product I can tell you to get is a black t-shirt or a dark coloured t-shirt. No, I'm an oil and balm kind of guy. So and I kind of go against the grain when they say with the oil, they say rub it into your skin. Because the oil's for the skin. Only through what I know what works for my beard. I don't do that, because if I rub it into my skin, what I end up finding is I get a build-up of gunk on my skin. So and that's not using too much oil. That's why my oil goes onto my beard, into my tash, and I use a hairdryer as well on a low heat to dry my beard, and then balm just to finish it to get the whispery bits under control.
Excellent. And what sort of scent do you usually go for?
Well, at the moment I am on the Opies. I'm on the Black Honey. I love that one, and I like the Greedy Man as well. But I'm quite funny with scent. We've had a conversation about this before, about your barista scent, which I know some people love, but food, flowers. No, don't want that scent in my beard. I don't want to smell like I've just spilt coffee down myself. I don't get it. I mean, it's a great, and it's any product that does like a coffee. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to smell like coffee. I brush my teeth after I've had a cup of coffee, so I don't smell like coffee. I don't need it on my beard.
I know what you mean, because I'm like that with a sherbet lemon. I use it, and then I'm starving. And I don't know. So it's not. If you want to lose weight, you definitely don't want a beard product that smells like food, do you? So
I think I'm more of a musty kind of sort of smell, really. If I can go for any. That's why I say the Black Honey, the Greedy Man. My other favourite is Nod to the Earl by Fine Fettle. Again, I'm not a big fan of the other scents. I love the scent. I think that's it. And I also use a lot of the non-scented stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you, so I would usually go for a non-scented balm or a non-scented. Depending on how I do it, because I don't want to clash scents.
Yeah.
So if you're using an oil with a scented, I'd then go with a non-scented balm on top of that. Or if I'm using a non-scented oil, I'd then have a scented balm on top of that, depending on how I want to do it. But yeah, I think I'm more the musty sort of kind of those sort of smells.
Right. Well, listen, that's all we've got time for, Matt. Thanks again for coming on. I'd like to have you on again at some point in the future once you've reopened and stuff, so we can see the studio working and stuff like that. But again, thanks for coming on. I will put all the links in the description for Matt and Hollie's tattoo studio and Matt's Instagram and all that sort of stuff. So join us again next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers, Matt.
No worries. Bye-bye.